who's joined us online. Today we welcome you to text in to 650-245-7018. There are also instructions on the website on how to join by conference call so you can interact with the class. Thank you very much for being here with us today. We're going to start with a song from Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Songs of Vaishnavacharyas, page 67 in the large version. The song is Ohe Vaishnava Thakur from Sharanagati. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagara, Idase Karuna Kori. Ohe Diya Parachaya, Shodohe Amaya, Tomara charana dhori. Chaya bega domi, chaya dosha shodhi, chaya guna deho dase. Chaya satsanga, deho he amare, bose chi sangera she. Ekaki amar, nahi pai bolo, Holyname Sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori, shadabindu diya, deho Krishna namadhane. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakti ache. Amito Ganga, Krishna Krishna boli, Dayatava pache pache. Hey Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagara, Idase Karuna Kori. Diya Parachaya, Shodohe Amai, Tomara charana dhori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagara, Idase Karuna Kori. Vaishnav Thakur. O ocean of mercy, be merciful to this servant of yours, and purify me with the shade of your lotus feet. Your lotus feet I humbly hold. By helping me control the 6 urges and purifying me of the 6 faults, bestow upon your servant the 6 good qualities. O Master, please give me the 6 kinds of holy association. I have sat down here hoping to have your company. Alone, I do not find the strength to chant the holy name of Hari. Please be merciful, and blessing me with a drop of faith, bestow upon me the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is yours, and you can give him to me, for such is your power. This wretch is simply running behind you, crying out, Krishna, Krishna. Page number 115. Pralaya. 1 up. Up. 2 up. No. Just turn it off. That's good. Pralaya payobdi jale dhritavanasi velam vihita vahitra charitra makedam keshavadrita Meena Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a fish, all glories to you. You easily acted as a boat in the form of a giant fish to give protection to the Vedas, which had sunk in the turbulent sea of devastation. Shitiriha vipulatare tishtati tava prishte Dharani dharana chakra garishte Keshavadrita Kurma Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a tortoise, all glories to you. The great Mount Mandara rests upon your gigantic back, which acts as a pivot for churning the ocean of milk, and which has thus been marked with a large, circular, scar-like depression. In this way your back has become most glorious. Vasati dashana shikare dharani tavalagna Shashani kalanka kaleva ninagna Keshavadrita shukara rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a boar, all glories to you. The earth, which had sunk to the bottom of the Garbha ocean, sits fixed upon the tip of your tusk like a spot upon the moon. Tavakara kamalavare nakamadhuta shringa Dalita iranyakashi putarubinga Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of half man, half lion, all glories to you. As one can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernails, so in the same way the body of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails on your beautiful lotus hands. Chalayasi vikramane balimad bhuta vamana paranaka nirajanita janapavana Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, all glories to you. O wonderful dwarf, by your massive steps you deceive King Bali, and by the Kanji's water that has emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. Kshatriya Rudhira Maye Jagarapagata Papam Snapayasi Payasi Shamita Bhavatapam Keshavadrita Brigupati Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Brigupati Parusharam, all glories to you. At Kurukshetra, you bathed the earth in the rivers of blood from the bodies of the demoniac Kshatriyas that you have slain. The sins of the world are washed away by you, and because of you, people are relieved from the blazing fire of material existence. Vitarasi dikshu rane dikpati kamaniyam Dashamukam Mauli Balim Ramaniyam Keshavadrita Rama Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Ramchandra, all glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroyed the 10-headed demon Ravana and distributed his heads as a delightful offering to the residing deities of the 10 directions headed by Indra. This action was long desired by all of them who were much harassed by this monster. Vahasiva Pushi Vishadeva Sanam Jaladabam Halahati Biti Militayam Unabam Keshavadrita Haladara Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Balaram, the yielder of the plow, all glories to you. On your brilliant white body you wear garments the color of fresh blue rain cloud. These garments are colored like the beautiful dark hue of the river Jamuna, who feels great fear due to the striking of your plowshare. Nindasi yagya vidhera ha shuti jatam sarayari daya darshita pashugatam keshavadrita buddha sharira jai jagadisha hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Buddha, all glories to you. O Buddha of compassionate heart, you decry the slaughtering of poor animals performed according to the rules of Vedic sacrifice. Lachani vahanidhane kalayasi karavala Duma ketumiva kimapi karalam Keshavadrita kalki sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Kalki, all glories to you. You appear like a comet and carry a terrifying sword for bringing about the annihilation of the wicked barbarian men in the end of Kali Yuga. Shri Jaya Deva Kaveri Damudita Mudara Shinasukadam Shubhadam Vasara Keshavadrita Dashvidharupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed these 10 different forms of incarnation, all glories to you. O readers, please hear this hymn of the poet Jayadev, which is most excellent, an awarder of happiness, a bestower of auspiciousness, and it is the best thing in this dark world. Vejanudarate jaganti vahate ugolam udvibrate daityam dharayate balim shalayate shatra shayam kurvate palasyam jayate halam Kalayate Karunyamatanvate Lechan Murchayate Dashakriti Krite Krishnaya Tubhyam Namah Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Go Premanande, Sharinam Sankirtan Ki, Sharinam Mantra Ki, Sharinam Prabhu Ki, Go Premanande. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. 6th canto, please. May I have a 6th canto? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Maybe it's Mahawater. We're beginning tonight in the history of the life of Ajamil. These histories are given to us in order to that we may attain perfection. And this story will lead us to the correct conclusion about the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which is always effective in every age. It's just that in Kali Yuga, all of the processes don't work. But the holy name and the holy name, chanting of the holy name, therefore becomes prominent. And there's another reason, and that is that in the Kali Yuga, this particular Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally distributes the holy name, and he's Krishna himself in the mood of Radharani, and therefore the holy name is wrapped in a wreath of prema. So the conception behind the holy name and chanting the holy name is particularly enhanced by the distribution from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. And to have steadiness in chanting Hare Krishna, one must understand one's constitutional position. This is Sambandha Gyan, and that means our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must also understand the potency of the holy name, and that Krishna and his name are non-different. Krishna Vapushe Namo Namaha. Krishna Purna Vapushe Namo Namaha. Krishna Purna Vapushe. The Vapu of Krishna is perfectly manifest in his holy name. Krishna Purna Vapushe Namo Namaha. Therefore we offer obeisances there. And the Shastra over and over again is leading us in this direction. And those who know what to look for in the Shastra, those who are Shastra Sunipuna, they are like geniuses in understanding Shastra. By dint of realization, they know the purpose behind the Shastra. Yasya Devi Parabhaktir Yata Devi Tagoro. Yes, let's start that over. Yasya Devi Parabhaktir Yata Devi Tatagoro Tasyaite Katitya Kyarta Prakashanti Mahatmanaha. To one who has implicit faith in both Krishna and the spiritual master, the imports of all the Vedic literatures are automatically and simultaneously revealed. And the Shastra is pointing towards Krishna. As Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita says, Vedanta Vit, Vedanta Krit, that I'm the knower of the Vedas, and one who knows the Vedas knows me. And within the Vedas, the perfection of all knowledge and the end of all practices comes in the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. So this is especially exemplified by the story. This is especially relayed by the story of Ajamil. And there's a discussion that takes place between Parikshit Maharaj, the disciple, and Shukadev Goswami, the spiritual master. After Parikshit Maharaj hears about the hellish planets in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he's feeling sorry for the living entities and how they have to suffer. And he wants to know how they can come out of that suffering. He also wants to know what's the cause of that suffering. And it turns out that the cause is sinful reactions. And Shukadev Goswami says that there are remedial measures for overcoming each sinful reaction that are mentioned in the Shastra, prayaschitta. And for minor sins, there's a minor kind of penance that one can perform. And for major sins, there's a major kind of penance. But Parikshit Maharaj doesn't go for that answer. He says, this doesn't sound right to me, because we see that people perform penance to purify a particular kind of sin, and then later on they go and do it again. He wanted to know what's the root cause and how to stop that activity at its root. And Shukadev Goswami was pleased with his disciple because he had tested him by giving him a superficial answer, and the intelligent disciple had seen right through it and said, Guru Maharaj, I want you to tell me the deeper thing, the real thing. So Shukadev Goswami began to explain how the cause of sinful reaction is the propensity within the heart to sin that's been there since a time immemorial. And until that's removed, someone may go to a self-help session and temporarily overcome some propensities, but later on we'll go back to those again, because the desire still resides within the heart and will manifest at a particular time. And this is a very famous verse, which is part of the conversation that's taking place between Shukadev and Parikshit in this regard. It comes in the 6th canto, 15th verse. 6th canto, chapter 1, 15th verse. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha agham dunvanti kartsnena niharam iva bhaskaraha. What page? 227 in your shloka books. For those of you who are following along at home, it's in the Srila Prabhupada shloka book on page 227. So I'll say, please repeat. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya Vasudeva parayana Agham dhunvanti kartsnena Niharam iva bhaskaraha. A couple of chanters. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya Vasudeva parayana Agham dhunvanti kartsnena Niharam iva bhaskaraha. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya Vasudeva parayana Agham dhunvanti kartsnena Niharam iva bhaskaraha. Kechit, some people, kevalaya bhaktya, by executing unalloyed devotional service. Vasudeva, to Lord Krishna, the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parayanaha, completely attached, only to such service, without dependence on austerity, penance, cultivation of knowledge, or pious activities. Agam, all kinds of sinful reactions. Dunvanti, destroy. Kartsnyena, completely, with no possibility that sinful desires will revive. Niharam, fog. Iva, like. Bhaskaraha, the sun. Translation. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Srila Prabhupada's purport. In the previous verse, Shukadeva Goswami gave the example that the dried leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree may be completely burnt to ashes by a fire, although the creepers may sprout again because the root is still in the ground. Similarly, because the root of sinful desire is not destroyed in the heart of a person who is cultivating knowledge, but who has no taste for devotional service, there is a possibility that his sinful desires will reappear. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4, Shreya Shritim Bhakti Mudasyate Vibho Klishyanti Ekeva Labhota Labdaye. Speculators who undergo great labor to gain a meticulous understanding of the material world by distinguishing between sinful and pious activities, but who are not situated in devotional service, are prone to material activities. They may fall down and become implicated in fruitive activities. If one becomes attached to devotional service, however, his desires for material enjoyment are automatically vanquished without separate endeavor. Bhakti parishanubhavo viraktiranyatra cha. If one is advanced in Krishna consciousness, material activities, both sinful and pious, automatically become distasteful to him. That is the test of Krishna consciousness. Both pious and impious activities are actually due to ignorance, because a living entity, as an eternal servant of Krishna, has no need to act for his personal sense gratification. Therefore, as soon as one is reclaimed to the platform of devotional service, he relinquishes his attachment for pious and impious activities and is interested only in what will satisfy Krishna. This process of bhakti, devotional service to Krishna, Vasudeva Parayana, relieves one from the reactions of all activities. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee, the answers of his guru, Shukadeva Goswami, concerning Karmakanda and Jnanakanda could not satisfy him. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, knowing very well the heart of its disciple, explained the transcendental bliss of devotional service. The word kechit, which is used in this verse, means a few people, but not all. Not everyone can become Krishna conscious. As Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatiti siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Practically no one understands Krishna as he is, for Krishna cannot be understood through pious activities or attainment of the most elevated speculative knowledge. Actually, the highest knowledge consists of understanding Krishna. Unintelligent men who do not understand Krishna are grossly puffed up, thinking that they are liberated or have themselves become Krishna or Narayan. This is ignorance. To indicate the purity of bhakti, devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karman yanavratam anakulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami further explains that bhakti is kleshagni shubhada, which means that if one takes to devotional service, all kinds of unnecessary labor and material distress cease entirely, and one achieves all good fortune. Bhakti is so powerful that it is also said to be moksha lugatakrit. In other words, it minimizes the importance of liberation. Non-devotees must undergo material hardships,
because they are prone to commit sinful fruitive activities. The desire to commit sinful actions continues in their heart due to ignorance. These sinful actions are divided into three categories: pataka, mahapataka, and atipataka, and also into two visions, prarabdha and aprarabdha. Prarabdha refers to sinful reactions from which one is suffering at the present, and aprarabdha refers to sources of potential suffering. When the seeds, bij, of sinful reactions have not yet fructified, the reactions are called aprarabdha. These seeds of sinful action are unseen, but they are unlimited, and no one can trace when they were first planted. And because of prarabdha, sinful reactions that have already fructified, one is seen to have taken birth in a low family or to be suffering from other miseries. When one takes to devotional service, however, all phases of sinful life, including prarabdha, aprarabdha, and bij, are vanquished. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14-19, Lord Krishna tells Uddhava, Yatagni susamriddharchi karot yedhamsi bhasmasad tata mad vishaya bhaktir utavai namchi kritnashaha. My dear Uddhava, devotional service in relationship with me is like a blazing fire that can burn to ashes all the fuel of sinful activities supplied to it. How devotional service vanquishes the reactions of sinful life is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 333.6, in a verse spoken during Kapiladev's instructions to his mother, Devahuti. Devahuti said, Yanamadeya shravanadu kirtanad yat pravanad yat smaranad api kuchit shwadhopi sadya savanaya kalpate kutak punaste bhagavan nudarshanad. My dear Lord, if even a person born in a family of dog-eaters hears and repeats the chanting of your glories, offers respect to you and remembers you, he is immediately greater than a brahmana and is therefore eligible to perform sacrifices. Therefore, what is to be said of one who has seen you directly? In the Padma Purana, there is a statement that persons whose hearts are always attached to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu are immediately released from all the reactions to sinful life. These reactions generally exist in four phases. Some of them are ready to produce results immediately, some are in the form of seeds, some are unmanifested, and some are current. All such reactions are immediately nullified by devotional service. When devotional service is present in one's heart, desires to perform sinful activities have no place there. Sinful life is due to ignorance, which means forgetfulness of one's constitutional position as an eternal servant of God. But when one is fully Krishna conscious, he realizes that he is God's eternal servant. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami comments that bhakti may be divided into two divisions. One, santata, devotional service that continues incessantly with faith and love. And two, kadachit ki, devotional service that does not continue incessantly but is sometimes awakened. Incessantly flowing devotional service, santata, may also be divided into two categories. One, service performed with slight attachment, and two, spontaneous devotional service. Intermittent devotional service, kadachit ki, can be divided into three categories as raga bhasamayi, devotional service in which one is almost detached. Two, raga bhasa shunya swarup bhuta, devotional service in which there is no spontaneous love, but one likes the constitutional position of serving. And three, abhas rupa, a slight glimpse of devotional service. As for atonement, if one has caught even a slight glimpse of devotional service, all needs to undergo prayaschitta, atonement, are superseded. Therefore, atonement is certainly unnecessary when one has achieved spontaneous love, and above that, attachment with love, which are signs of increasing advancement in kadachit ki. Even in the stage of abhas rupa bhakti, all the reactions of sinful life are uprooted and vanquished. Srila Jiva Goswami expresses the opinion that the word kartsnyena means that even if one has a desire to commit sinful actions, the roots of that desire are vanquished merely by abhas rupa bhakti. The example of Bhaskara, the sun, is most appropriate. The Abbas feature of bhakti is compared to twilight, and the accumulation of one's sinful activities is compared to fog. Since fog does not spread throughout the sky, the sun need do no more than merely manifest its first rays, and the fog immediately disappears. Similarly, if one has even a slight relationship with devotional service, all the fog in his sinful life is immediately vanquished. You like it? Yes. Too much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Go Premanande. Shri Badarayani Ravacha Evam te Bhagavad Duta Yamadutabi Bashitam Upadharyatatan Rajan Pratyahurnaya Kovidaha. Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, the servants of Lord Vishnu are always very expert in logic and arguments. After hearing the statements of the Yamadutas, they replied as follows." So, leading up to this, we hear about how Ajamil, who was a dutiful young Brahmin, had fallen down from his religious principles and began living with a woman who had no social standing at all. And he took to all kinds of unregulated practices and sinful life in order to maintain his lifestyle. He had lots and lots of kids and so forth. And at the end of his life, the Yamadutas, who were the messengers of Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, had come to claim him for punishment, for judgment and punishment. And then they were stopped by the Vishnu Dutas. And it's a big question of why that happened. Why was it that somebody who had obviously transgressed religious principles, who had committed all kinds of sinful activities, had been suddenly given a reprieve at the very last second, and very forcefully so? The Vishnu Dutas defeated the Yamadutas in argument, and all of that is recorded in these pages, the exact reasons why. Shukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, the servants of Lord Vishnu are always expert in logic and arguments. After hearing the statements of the Yamadutas, they replied as follows." The Vishnudutas said, "Alas, how painful it is that irreligion is being introduced into an assembly where religion should be maintained. Indeed, those in charge of maintaining the religious principles are needlessly punishing a sinful, unpunishable person." Oh, that is 622. And hopefully you have eyes in the back of your head. But that's being... Probably he has something else, like he's showing it to the audience too, right? I know he's constantly thinking in there in that booth how to make it better. The Vishnudutas accused the Yamadutas of violating the religious principles by attempting to drag Ajamil to Yamaraj for punishment. Yamaraj is the officer appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to judge religious and irreligious principles and to punish people who are irreligious. However, if completely sinless people are punished, the entire assembly of Yamaraj is contaminated. This principle applies not only in the assembly of Yamaraj, but throughout human society also. In human society, properly maintaining religious principles is the duty of the king's court or the government. Unfortunately, in this Kali Yuga, the religious principles are tampered with, and the government cannot properly judge who is to be punished and who is not. It is said that in the Kali Yuga, one cannot spend money. If one cannot spend money in court, one cannot get justice. Indeed, in courts of justice, it is often found that magistrates are bribed for favorable judgments. Sometimes religious men who preach the Krishna consciousness movement for the benefit of the entire populace are arrested and harassed by the police and courts. The Vishnudutas, who are Vaishnavas, lamented for these very regrettable facts. Because of their spiritual compassion for all the fallen souls, Vaishnavas go out to preach spiritual compassion. Vaishnavas go out to preach according to the standard method of all religious principles. But unfortunately, because of the influence of Kali Yuga, Vaishnavas who have dedicated their lives to preaching the glories of the Lord are sometimes harassed and punished by courts on false charges and disturbing the peace. Text 3. Prajanam pitaro yecha shashchara saravasamaha yadisyateshu vaishamyam kamyanti sharanam prajaha. A king or governmental officer should be so well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, and protector of the citizens because of affection and love. He should give the citizens good advice and instructions according to the standard scriptures and should be equal to everyone. Yamaraj does this, for he is the supreme master of justice, and so do those who follow in his footsteps. However, if such persons become polluted and exhibit partiality by punishing an innocent, blameless person, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security? Purport: the king, or in modern times the government, should act as the guardian of the citizens by teaching them the proper goal of life. The human form of life is especially meant for realization of oneself and one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because this cannot be realized in animal life. The duty of the government, therefore, is to take charge of training all the citizens in such a way that by a gradual process they will be elevated to the spiritual platform and will realize the self and his relationship with God. This principle was followed by kings like Maharaj Yudhishthira, Maharaj Parikshit, Lord Ramachandra, Maharaj Ambarish, and Prahlad Maharaj. The leaders of the government must be very honest and religious, because otherwise all the affairs of the state will suffer. Unfortunately, in the name of democracy, rogues and thieves are electing other rogues and thieves to the most important posts in the government. Recently, this has been proven in America, and again and again and again, where the president had to be condemned and dragged down from his post by the citizens. This is only one case, but there are many others. Because of the importance of the Krishna consciousness movement, people should be Krishna conscious and should not vote for anyone who is not Krishna conscious. Bill Clinton did take a Bhagavad Gita last year, and he hugged the devotee who gave it to him too. Did you see that story? In Los Angeles, one of Sankarshan Das Adhikari's disciples distributing books in Santa Monica, and Bill Clinton saw him in the crowd, and he got out of his limousine and he went over and got the Bhagavad Gita from him. He held it up, and he gave the devotee a big hug. Came back in. Yeah, it's on Dandavats. Then there will be actual peace and prosperity in the state. When a Vaishnava sees mismanagement in the government, he feels great compassion in his heart and tries his best to purify the situation by spreading the Hare Krishna movement. Narendra likes this. Text 4. Yad yada chariti shreyan itaras tad tad ihate sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. The mass of people follow the example of a leader in society and imitate his behavior. They accept as evidence whatever the leader accepts. Purport: although Ajamil was not punishable, the Yamadutas were insisting on taking him away to Yamaraj for punishment. This was a dharma, contrary to religious principles. The Vishnudutas feared that if such irreligious acts were allowed, the management of human society would be spoiled. In modern times, the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to introduce the right principles of management for human society, but unfortunately, the governments of Kali Yuga do not properly support the Hare Krishna movement because they do not appreciate its valuable service. The Hare Krishna movement is the right movement for ameliorating the fallen condition of human society, and therefore governments and public leaders in every part of the world should support this movement to completely rectify humanity's sinful condition. Text 5 and 6. Yasyanke shira adhaya lokas swapiti nirvrata swayam dharmam adharmam ba nahi veda yata pashuhu sakatam nyarpitatmanam Kritamaitram achetanam Vishrampa Paniyo Bhutanam Saguno Dogdum Arhati. People in general are not very advanced in knowledge by which to discriminate between religion and irreligion. The innocent, unenlightened citizen is like an ignorant animal sleeping in peace with its head on the lap of its master, faithfully believing in the master's protection. If a leader is actually kind-hearted and deserves to be the object of a living entity's faith, how can he punish or kill a foolish person who has fully surrendered in good faith and friendship? Purport: the Sanskrit word Vishvastagata refers to one who breaks faith or causes a breach of faith or trust. Breach of trust, faith or breach of trust. The Sanskrit word Vishvastagata refers to one who breaks faith or causes a breach of trust. The mass of people should always feel security because of the government's protection. Therefore, how regrettable it is for the government itself to cause a breach of trust and put the citizens in difficulty for political reasons. We actually saw during the partition days in India that although Hindus and Muslims were living together peacefully, manipulation by politicians suddenly aroused feelings of hatred between them, and thus the Hindus and the Muslims killed one another over politics. This is a sign of Kali Yuga. In this age, animals are kept nicely sheltered, completely confident that their masters will protect them. But unfortunately, as soon as the animals are fat, they are immediately sent for slaughter. Such cruelty is condemned by Vaishnavas like the Vishnudutas. Indeed, the hellish conditions already described await the sinful men responsible for such suffering. One who betrays the confidence of a living entity, who takes shelter of him in good faith, whether that living entity be a human being or an animal, is extremely sinful. Because such betrayals now go unpunished by the government, all of human society is terribly contaminated. The people of this age are therefore described as manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hupadrataha. As a consequence of such sinfulness, men are condemned, mandaha. Their intelligence is unclear, sumanda matayaha. They are unfortunate, manda bhagya. And therefore they are always disturbed by many problems, upadrataha. This is their situation in this life, and after death they are punished in hellish conditions. Text 7. Ayam hi krita nirvesho janma kotyam hasam api yad vyajahara vishvaso nama swatyayanam harehe. Ajamil has already atoned for all his sinful actions. Indeed, he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but for those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense, and therefore he is now pure and eligible for liberation. Purport. The Yamadutas had considered only the external situation of Ajamil. Since he was extremely sinful throughout his life, they thought he should be taken to Yamaraj, and did not know that he had become free from the reactions of all his sins. The Vishnudutas therefore instructed that because he had chanted the 4 syllables of the name Narayana at the time of his death, he was freed from all sinful reactions. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following verses from the Smriti Shastra. Namno hi yavati shakti papa nir harane hare tavat kartum nishaknoti patakam pataki naraha. Simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit. That's from the Brihat Vishnu Purana. Aveshenapiyannamni kirtite sarvapatakahi puman vimuchate sadya singha traster mriger ava. If one chants the holy name of the Lord, even in a helpless condition, or without desiring to do so, all the reactions of his sinful life depart, just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear. Sakrid ucharitam yena harir et yakshara dvayam bhada parikarastena mukshaya gamanam prati. By once chanting the holy name of the Lord, which consists of the 2 syllables Hari, one guarantees his path to liberation. Skanda Purana. These are some of the reasons why the Vishnudutas objected to the Yamadutas taking Ajamil to the court of Yamaraj. Text number 8. Etenaiva hyagonosya kritam syad aga nishkritam yada narayana yeti jagada chatur aksharam. The Vishnudutas continued. Even previously, while eating and at other times, this Ajamil would call his son, saying, "My dear Narayan, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables, Narayana. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana in this way, he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of lives. Purport. Previously, when engaged in sinful activities to maintain his family, Ajamil chanted the name of Narayan without offenses. To chant the holy name of the Lord just to counteract one's sinful activities, or to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name, is offensive. Namno balad yasehi papa buddhi. But although Ajamil engaged in sinful activities, he never chanted the holy name of Narayan to counteract them. He simply chanted the name Narayan to call his son. Therefore his chanting was effective. Because of chanting the holy name of Narayan in this way, he had already vanquished the accumulated sinful reactions of many, many lives. In the beginning he was pure, but although he later committed many sinful acts, he was offenseless because he did not chant the holy name of Narayan to counteract them. One who always chants the holy name of the Lord without offenses is always pure. As confirmed in this verse, Ajamil was already sinless, and because he chanted the holy name of Narayan, he remained sinless. It did not matter that he was calling his son. The name itself was effective. Text 9 and 10. Stena surapo mitra drug brahmaha guru talpaga stri raja pitrir gohanta yecha patakino pare sarveshvan apyagan vatam idam eva sunishkritam nama vyaharanam vishnor yatastad vishayamatihi. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. Na nishkrater uditer brahma vadibis tata vishnu dhyat yagavan vratadibihi yata harir nama parir udahritais tadutama shloka gunopal lambakam. Upalambakam, reminding one. Upalambakam. By following the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or undergoing atonement, sinful men do not become as purified as by chanting once the holy name of Lord Hari. By chanting once the holy name of Hari. Although ritualistic atonement may free one from sinful reactions, it does not awaken devotional service, unlike the chanting of the Lord's names, which reminds one of the Lord's fame, quality, attributes, pastimes, and paraphernalia. Would you like to hear the purport? Yes. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that the chanting of the holy name of the Lord has special significance that distinguishes it from the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of atonement for severe, more severe, and most severe sinful actions. There are 20 types of religious scriptures called Dharma Shastras, beginning with the Manu Samhita in Parashara Sanghita. But herein it is stressed that although one may become free from the reactions of the most sinful activities by following the religious principles of these scriptures, this cannot promote a sinful man to the stage of loving service to the Lord. On the other hand, chanting of the holy name of the Lord even once not only frees one immediately from the reactions of the greatest sins, but also raises one to the platform of rendering loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described as Uttama Shloka, because he is famous for his glorious activities. Thus one serves the Lord by remembering his forms, his attributes, and his pastimes. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that this is all possible simply by chanting the Lord's holy name because of the Lord's omnipotence. What cannot be achieved through the performance of Vedic rituals can be easily achieved through the chanting of the Lord's holy name. To chant the holy name and dance in ecstasy is so easy and sublime that one can achieve all the benefits of spiritual life simply by following this process. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares, Param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan. The Sankirtan movement we have started offers the best process for becoming purified of all sinful reactions and coming immediately to the platform of spiritual life. We have a Holyname program this Friday, right? Friday night, Palo Alto. It's an opportunity, everyone, to come. We're going to meet in Palo Alto at Emerson Street and University Avenue, and we'll set up a book table, and we'll have chanting of holy names just right out in public. And those who hear the holy name and those who repeat it get all the benefit of performing all the Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, everything completely, and they become purified because they have no expectation. They're simply either imitating or appreciating or hating it. And that's okay too. According to the prayers by Rupa Goswami in his Namashtakam, Twamanad api mana gudilikam nikilogratapa patalim valimpasi, that even if one utters the holy name out of spite, even one time, then his many sinful reactions are cleansed because of saying, Hare Krishna. So this is giving us the Siddhanta of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, a clear understanding that this is the be-all and end-all of all processes mentioned in the Vedas. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is mantra mentioned in the Kalisantarana Upanishad. You can look it up in your book. Let's look up this mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, in the Kalisantarana Upanishad. Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate, it is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, iti sodasakam namnam kalikalma shanashanam. What is it? 358. You'll find this jewel of a verse on page 358. Don't let it fool you. This is written on paper, but this is getting all these. I mean, it's actually a miracle that we have these books here, a modern miracle. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to make a book, take the Brahma Samhita from the temple of Adikeshava, he had to take it to a local scribe who would copy it by hand. And he apparently had several copies made. How long did that take for a person writing by hand to make several copies? And then he took them and gave them to his favorite disciples. Look around the room. We have one on every book stand. And these are available. If you want them tomorrow, we can drop ship them from Bombay here in one day. So take advantage of these kinds of advanced technologies. Don't let it fool you that we should take this for granted. It's actually we have the greatest facility of any time practically to read these shastras and come to understand them and come to an elevated position in devotional service. 358? Is that it? 358. Let's have a look at this verse. In the Shloka book. Kali Santarana Upanishad, verses 5 and 6. We'll say together, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, iti sodashakam namnam, kali kalma shanashanam, nata paratareopaya, sarva vedeshu drishyate. The 16 words of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra are especially meant for counteracting the sins of the age of Kali, to save oneself from the contamination of this age. There is no alternative but to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. After searching through all the Vedic literatures, one cannot find a method of religion for this age so sublime as chanting of Hare Krishna. Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. It means after searching through all the Vedic shastras, you will not find anything so sublime. So, Drishyate means to see something. Now, we hear at the beginning of the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita how the material world is like a banyan tree, and then the leaves are the Vedic hymns, right? Do you know the verse? Urdva mulamada shakam ashvatam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved adaschurvam prashritas tasya shaka guna pravrida vishaya pravala adashcha mulan anusantatani karmanubhandini manushaloke. So it's being described how it's this gigantic banyan tree. You don't see the beginning or the end. You can't see where its origin is because we're in the middle of this gigantic banyan tree. In the leaves of the Vedic hymns. And furthermore, in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about how there are many promises given in the Vedas for material enjoyment in the heavenly planets and so forth. And one great devotee once described the Vedas as a jungle of sounds. A jungle of sounds. That was Prabhupada's godbrother B.R. Sridhar Maharaj, who was very poetical. He would say, it's like a jungle of sounds. And to find out the essence behind the Vedas, Krishna indicates, Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. One must know the purpose behind them. Must know the purpose behind the Vedas. Otherwise you can get lost in that jungle of sounds, in that big banyan tree, and not know the purpose. And some people think the purpose is to live happily in the material world, and the Vedas accommodate that. But sarva vedeshu drishyate, this verse from the Upanishads is saying, one who can actually see what the purpose is behind the Vedas. If you search all the Vedas and you see what's in there, what is it all leading to? It's leading to the holy name. And Rupa Goswami says much the same thing in Nikila Shutimali Ratnamala Duti Nidaji Dapada Pankajanta. He says that the crown jewel of all the Vedas are the Upanishads, are the Upanishads. And the Upanishads are performing an artik ceremony, and they're shining light on the tips of the toes of the lotus feet of the holy name. It means that all the Vedas, actually, the transcendental part, culminate in the Upanishads. And then the Upanishads are leading us somewhere. They're leading us to a conclusion. And what is that conclusion? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but then Rupa Goswami says, well, he says, Nikila Shrutimali Ratnamala Dutinidaji Dapada Pankajanta. The Vedas personify the Upanishads. They're worshipping the tips of the toes of the lotus feet of the holy name of Krishna. And then Rupa Goswami says further on, Vacham Vachakam Ityudeti Bhavato Nama Swarupa Dvayam. He says there's two things. There's Krishna and there's his name. But actually, everyone knows that Krishna and his name are non-different. Binat Dvam Nama Namino, right? There's no difference between the two. So, in a poetical way, but also in an astounding way, Rupa Goswami is contradicting this. He's saying, there's a difference between these two, between the named and the name. Vacham, Vachakam, the named and the name. Name and the named. And so, Vacham, Vachakam, Ityudeti, Bhavato Nama Swarupa Dvayam. So there are two things, but of these two, which are actually one, the name is more merciful than the named. Because even if one commits an offense to Krishna, the name will still accommodate himself to you. And if you simply chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then you'll become plunged in an ocean of ecstasy. And you can continue your spiritual life from whatever situation you're in. And therefore, it's recommended, as we heard from this interesting verse, for all these different kinds of really, these different kinds of sinful activities that one can commit. The best remedy is to go on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because that will bring one to the perfect stage. And anyone who continues chanting Hare Krishna, despite the many obstacles that one has in one's life, or even remaining sinful reactions, will very quickly become purified. As Krishna says, Shashvat Bhavati Dharmatma, Shantim, I'm sorry. Shri Prambhavati Dharmatma Shashvach Chantim Nagachati Koteya Pratijanihi Nami Bhakti Pranashiti. Declare it boldly, Arjuna, that very quickly this devotee will become purified because he's rightly situated. He's going on with the process of devotional service, and he'll come to the perfect stage. So now we'll take some reflections or questions. What one thing did you hear so far? Malini? We're waiting for the microphones. They're just now coming.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I had two things I wanted to say. One was about the books that we had. Recently, when we went this weekend to the Dharma Fest, we had a booth next to us who was Isha Foundation. They have some kind of yoga, and the yoga that they taught was that you go to their booth and they put a tape, they put headphones around your ears, and the headphones keep saying that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not this body. So you have to close your eyes and meditate on that. So I felt that it was okay. It was at least the first step towards self-realization, that at least they came to a point that you're not this body, you're not this mind. But the next step was not given. So there was a person who came to the booth who took that test, and he was feeling enlivened after knowing that he is not this body, and the meditation was nice. But the next question was not answered about what is the next step, that the part that you are the soul, and what is your position, what you have to do from there. That part was not explained. So when that person came to our booth, I was thinking, he might have already gotten everything from there. What will he get from here? So when he came to our booth, I started that you are a spirit soul. And what is your constitutional position? And then I had to offer a book which he could take it home and start the experience, continue the experience from where he left off. But as opposed to the other booth, they could only give it for a few seconds, but the person might forget that experience after a few moments. Then I was appreciating Srila Prabhupada, how, because he gave the book, and he also mentioned in one of his lectures that what preaching you're going to do in 5 minutes, but if a person gets a book, then he can read on. So that I thought was very powerful when I got that one. And the same person, actually, this is about the holy name and how, by chanting the holy name, how actually it affects everybody. The same person, he wrote back to me later that he said that I heard somebody on my way out singing the names of Krishna, and I found that they were so blissful and happy. And he was saying, like, how is that kind of a feeling? Is it real? Does it happen to anyone? Because for me, I've read so many scriptures. I have studied so many philosophies, but everything was just dry. It was only at the intellectual level. I was never able to get that bliss that other people were getting who were singing. And he was asking, like, is it a problem with me, or is it that it happens to everybody? So I was thinking that just the holy name, chanting the holy names, it is touching everybody around that area. I don't know how many more people have experienced this kind of a bliss, but it was very powerful, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dhirendra Prabhu.
I've got one question which I've asked a couple of times, but I've never got a satisfactory answer.
Uh-oh.
So, here, Dasarath, at the time of his death, he said Ram, 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 and he died. And then he didn't get salvation or anything. He got the heaven, and where he sat with the Indra. And here, if you compare with the Ajamil, he takes the name of his son. He also took the name, Dasarath also took the name of his son, and he also took the name of his son, and he gets more than Dasarath. How come? How do you compare? What is the difference between their both taking names of the?
Well, first of all, I'd like to see in the Ramayana exactly what it says. But
I can explain where
yeah.
it is. You see, at the time when once he goes to the heaven, and when Ram killed Ravana, at that time, after killing Ravana, Indra came and wanted to worship Lord Ram, and Dasarath also came at that time. And when again he started saying, "Oh Ram," he was still remembering Ram was his son still. So Ram looked at his with his eyes, said, "I'm not your son," basically. And then he gets the
okay, hold it. I didn't mean that because I would like to understand more the original text, what it's saying. There are many translations of the Ramayana, there are other versions of the Ramayana, and sometimes there's interpolations and so forth. We can trust the Srimad Bhagavatam because we know there's no interpolation, and Bhagavad Gita also preserved. I'm not saying there is necessarily, but I'd have to understand because I'm not a scholar of the Ramayana, or but we'd have to see that. However, I can't answer your question in a general way, that devotees who attain perfection may go in stages according to their temperament. It's not a stereotype scenario that when a devotee attains perfection, he or she necessarily just goes straight back to Vaikuntha or Goloka or any other particular place. In fact, it's mentioned in the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that devotees have their preference in how they attain their liberation as they're leaving. Some devotees like to see everything in the material world as they're leaving. Others go straight back to the spiritual world. There are scenarios, as mentioned in the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, Gopakumar, who, although on the path of perfection, took a circuitous route around the universe in many different places and stopped here and there and so forth, before eventually going back to Gokula Vrindavan and then going back to Goloka Vrindavan and so forth. So from particular instances in history of various devotees, there are various ways in which they are making their way back to Godhead in various ways. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, this happened very recently. I was preaching to one of my colleagues, and he apparently got to know that I'm a Hare Krishna, and I chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and all. So I told him, that yes, this is what I do. And surprisingly, he and his family believes, I don't want to name the institution, but absolutely a Mayavadi institution, which is not even part of any parampara or anything. And I was trying to tell the essence, and suddenly I was surprised when he told his parents, who have also been practicing with that institution, have been chanting the holy names, the same Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, for the last 30 years. And they get up in the morning, they do all their rounds. I didn't ask how many rounds, but definitely he said they chant for like 2-3 hours every day. What took me by shock is I couldn't preach beyond, I just stopped there, and I was in a dilemma that Holyname is so pure, and they've been chanting for 30 years, yet they are so convinced with that Mayavadi philosophy, whatever it is. Why didn't the Holyname affect them?
Well, this is explained in the Harinam Chintamani, that when one chants the holy name with the conception of Mayavad, then one's committing Nam Aparad. It's an offense to the holy name, and therefore the actual effect of the holy name is not received by the chanter. It's the only case in which there's no benefit from the chanting of the holy name, when the conception of the chanter is contaminated with Mayavad, because there's a distortion that takes place because of that conception. And therefore, Mayavad is very dangerous. It's the idea that I'm God, we're all God, but we've simply been separated temporarily and forgotten. And that after chanting Hare Krishna for some time, when we are purified from the modes of material nature, again will become God and merge back into God that we already are, but we've just forgotten now. This and many other combinations and permutations of concocted philosophy make up the Mayavad theory. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Haridas Thakur explains that this is the stage of Namaparadha. If one gets the association of pure Vaishnavas and begins to come out of that fog of the Mayavad philosophy, then one can begin to make progress in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Otherwise, not possible. In fact, we know that it's mentioned when we say the 10 offenses in that section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita that if one is infested with the offenses against chanting the holy name, he may go on chanting for many, many millions of lifetimes and not come to the stage of perfection, not make advancement. So not only must one chant Hare Krishna, but one must also simultaneously avoid offenses.
So Maharaj, faith plays a big role while we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I mean, will they get any benefit at all because they don't have faith but they're chanting?
Well, if they are contaminated by Mayavad and they're chanting, then the effect of the holy name will not touch them. It's an offense. Sanatan Sundaram?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I want to share one
Yes.
Ramayana. Prabhuji was telling that he did not go to Vaikuntha, he went to heavenly planet. Because one lecture I was listening a couple of months before, because at last he went to heavenly planet instead of Vaikuntha. Because Rama exiled, he followed whatever my father has told, I wanted to execute his promise, he left. Then the lecture was saying that Prabhuji, at least he went to heavenly planet. He could have gone to hellish planet because even though Dasharatha knew that he was a supreme personality of Godhead, he could have put Kaikeyi out of the way, and he begged Rama to stay in the kingdom. When we see Krishna's story, when Krishna was pretending he fell in sick, he was asking dust of devotees dust. That time nobody came forward to give their dust, but the gopis did. Even we are ready to go to hell, but let Krishna get cured. Like that, so Dasharatha was not favored to Ram. So at last he went to heaven instead of going to hell.
I'd like corroboration. Thank you. Another, I don't know the Ramayana that well.
Another.
Yeah.
So when we were reading about the Ajamila stories, so that the final moment, Ajamila, Yamadutas and Vishnudutas came to protect Ajamila because of uttering the Narayan name. Vishnudutas came there, but when they were arguing each other, Vishnudutas and Yamadutas, the Ajamila felt that I did so many, because of uttering one name of Narayana, Vishnudutas came and fighting for me. If I did not commit so much sinful activities, I could have, Narayana, I could have put into a better situation. So that pardoning, so he got liberation. So I heard in lecture.
I didn't quite catch your point.
Okay, uttering the Narayana name, not only he went back to Godhead. Because when Yamadutas and Vishnudutas were arguing, that time he felt very sorry that whatever the sinful activities he committed during his life. Mm-hmm. So that is the reason, that is also the good reason he went back to Vaikuntha planets.
Yeah, that's true. After the conversation between the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas, Ajamil felt repentant. And Prabhupada mentions in that section that it's important for a person to feel repentant that I've sinned in this material world, and by that repentance, the sin is burned up. And after hearing the conversation of the Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, he went to perform a more devotional service in order to come to the perfectional stage. It wasn't that he instantly went back to Godhead, but he had some time. In fact, he tried to approach the Vishnudutas afterwards. They were still present after the Yamadutas had disappeared. And when he began to speak to them, they also disappeared. So then he went to Prayag, I believe. And there he performed his devotional service that attained perfection. Yeah, so repentance is your point, right? Yes, it's a nice point. Yes, Sudeep.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Maharaj. I have a question about our Mahamantra. And everywhere we read about the glories of the holy name and how potent and powerful it is. My question is, here in Kali Santarana Upanishad, it clearly has been said about the Mahamantra. But there are families back in India who are very devout and who are devotees of Lord Krishna, but they chant the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Is there a difference between chanting our Mahamantra and chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya?
No, not really. They're both bona fide mantras. They both invoke the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, there's something special about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that particularly this name of Krishna was wrapped with a wreath of prema. And it's also the Yugal mantra, in other words, it's addressing Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Radha Krishna mantra. So there's no difference, but if you look into the details and the subtleties of it, there are some differences. And particularly, we're taking the Hare Krishna Mahamantra because it's passed down to us in a very special way through the disciplic succession given to us from the Acharyas, passed down from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there have been many different groups who have tried to manipulate the mantra in different ways. For instance, during the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there are some groups that concocted other mantras and they take the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and they'd add on something. They make it a little bit different. And they say, see, this is better because this is, we've cooked up something. And it reminds me of the story that Ma Guna told that for Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, that she had learned to make these Prabhupada cookies. They're very simple. They have flour and sugar and water and so forth. And then someone told her about the sugar, so she used honey instead, and it all fell apart. And then she realized that you don't add or subtract anything, you take it as the recipe comes down to you. And in that way, it's also special. Yes, Trishab?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question which is that if from a process point of view, Hare Krishna mantra is the process of self-realization. So if is it just the mantra, or is it like the conception of the mantra also which is powerful? Because if from a point of view, like if there's a like animal, like a parrot which is chanting Hare Krishna, just it is taught to chant Hare Krishna, a parrot, then the parrot might not have a benefit of the mantra. But if a person chants, with the conception that I'm chanting Hare Krishna and addressing God, that I am really calling out the name of God. So is that conception a part of the process?
Yes. And so those who are contaminated by Mayavad and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra are contaminating the process. And therefore it's compared to a serpent drinking milk. I've never seen a serpent drink milk, but this example is given by Sanatana Goswami that if you feed a milk serpent, in other words, he comes in and he drinks out of his little milk dish, and he puts his poison into it, and then you drink the milk, then the milk is going to be poisonous also. So there's a way in which one should hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from pure devotees. And if you hear it from Mayavadis, you get something else. The vibration is different, distorted. So if you hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from a pure devotee, and with faith you pass it on to others, faith means that you believe that the name of Krishna and the mantra are the same. If you have that faith, and you receive it from a pure devotee, you pass it on to others, the effect will be the same. How we receive spiritual knowledge and how the vibration comes to us in the first place is related to this topic. And this is discussed in the Krishna book, or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the chapter called Prayers by the Personified Vedas. And you'll notice in that chapter, in the beginning, there's a question which has been entertained by great sages and saints for many, many millennia. And that is that, how is it that spiritual sound is transmitted through a material medium? That is, the ears are obviously some kind of a contraption. And the sound vibration is measurable. It's going through space, some kind of a vibration pushing the air, and it hits the eardrum and so forth. How is that spiritual? If we're dealing with bhumir apona lovayu kamano buddhirevacha and so forth, these are separated material energies. How do you get a spiritual sound vibration going through that? And in the outset of that chapter, Srila Prabhupada says, this is a referendum on whether the Supreme Personality of Godhead is personal or impersonal. Now, how do you get that conclusion? Prabhupada explains. The reason is because the human body is created for two purposes. One is for sense gratification, and the other is for liberation and spiritual enlightenment, because it's got facility for both. Now, according to the intention of the driver of the body, that's the soul, and how he takes in the knowledge, Krishna adjusts that. In other words, because Krishna is the source of all material and spiritual energies, Mata Paratanam Nanyat Kinchirasti Dhananjaya, he can change material into spiritual and spiritual into material, in the sense that if one is sincere, then Krishna will help from within the heart, and the vibration that's being received, he will channel that properly so that you can understand spiritual knowledge. But if somebody has ill motivation, then they won't be able to, especially Mayavad, then it's very difficult for them to receive the spiritual sound vibration. And this Krishna mentions in the 12th chapter of the Gita, Klesho dikartarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukam dehavadbhiravapyate. It's very difficult for those who are attached to the impersonal conception of the Lord to make advancement. There's a lot of suffering and trouble in that conception. Yes, you were ready.
So, Prabhuji, my question is, we read one sentence where it is said that one should not chant the mantra to get rid of the sinful reactions. But also we hear about so many offenses. But the thing is, the body is so conditioned that we always think about what is in it for me. Otherwise, I'm not getting motivated to do anything. So even while chanting, the thought comes that, oh, let me get rid of the sins, let me get rid of the anarthas. there is not a point where, like how you are saying, that I just hear the name so that Krishna as Paramatma is pleased. So how does one attain that stage? Like, what should I be doing when we are means mentally? How does one get rid of these propensities?
Well, first of all, unless you're actually acting on that and going out and committing sinful activities and thinking, ha ha ha, I got the system beat because I'm just going to chant and it'll be all okay, then this isn't. The offense means to have that intention. Just the fact that there's still anartas or material desires floating around and that you're chanting and hoping to become purified of those things. This is not the seventh offense in the chanting of the holy name. But basically the answer is to continue chanting for a long time, 40 years.
Does it mean that one really gets the taste that Rupa Goswami is saying that I want millions of tongues and millions of ears? Does that like really happen?
Yes. And if someone can get even that taste for one time in their life, even a mustard seed of taste, even if it's not 1,000 million years, if one can get some kind of taste and see for oneself, then it drives the person onward because we're looking for that. It fulfills the desire for which we've always been anxious. That taste for which we're always anxious, it actually fulfills that. So, yes, devotees attain that, and they experience it, and therefore they're able to go on, and that's what drives them more and more. 40 years.
I've noticed that Keshav Bharati Maharaj always, given any chance, he just disappears and starts chanting.
He chants all day long. He lives at my house when he comes, and he's always chanting. Whenever I come upstairs, he's chanting. Whenever I go downstairs, he's chanting. But he's always chanting. And actually, one of my godbrothers who came and visited Satyadev many years ago, Satyadev was telling me the story. It was Parvat Maharaj. He's quite a chanter. He chants a lot. So anyway, he came and stayed at their house, and he said it really impressed the kids. The kids at the time were in high school, and they were, But anyway, they saw Parvat Maharaj. He said when they come back from work, they go to bed, he was sitting there chanting. They'd wake up early in the morning, he was sitting there chanting. And it transformed the whole house. Yeah, Keshav Bharati Maharaj is always chanting. And when he's not chanting out loud, he's chanting in his mind. He keeps the vibration going constantly. He knows. He's had experience over many years in chanting the holy name and going through life experiences and having. I know him very well, and he's deeply taken shelter of the holy name. When he went out to Govardhan at one point, he was chanting all day long, constantly, 100 rounds, 108 rounds, like that. And he definitely has a taste. I watch him, and he's absorbed. He loves chanting, and he keeps chanting. You can't keep doing that, and chant like that. And there are a lot of devotees you see have a taste for the holy name. Taste is definitely there. All the great sages. I was walking along this morning on my morning walk, and I was reading the Namashtakam, and I was just thinking, it takes a lot of work to write these poems. And these devotees, they're writing all about the glories of the holy name, how Sudita Ashita Ganasha Rashaye Ramya Chit Gana Sukhasturupine, you're the form of complete bliss. I mean, they're feeling all these things, they're putting them down, just out of love for the holy name, appreciating. So it's definitely there. And we have to follow faithfully the admonition given by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction that in the beginning it's like medicine, and in the end it becomes the most relishable thing. You have to believe the doctor and keep taking the medicine very carefully. So there's bliss in the holy name. It's what we're all looking for. All the Vedas are pointing to the holy name. So this is a World Holy Name Week. Did you know that? So it's a good time to renew your vow in your chanting. there's always opportunity to renew your vow. Even if you're chanting your minimum number of rounds, you can chant more. That's one way to do it. Other way is to chant better, to chant with more attention. There's some way so improve your vow this week and pray to Krishna to serve the holy name by hearing and chanting very attentively. And all perfection will come from that. And now we'll put away all the books and asanas with great devotion but efficiency, and then we'll stand up for the evening arti. Thank you very much, everyone. It was such a pleasure to be here with you tonight. And thank you, everyone, who joined us online. Did we get any texts? And we'll see you all on Friday night for the biggest Harinam of the year. It starts at 6:59 p.m. Be there in Palo Alto at 6:58 p.m. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashacharishatarine. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandera Ruti Koshoba. Janavi Tatabane Jagamana Loba. Janavi Tatabane Jagamana Loba. Jagajana Mana Lobha. Jagajana Mana Lobha. Gaurangera Rotiko Shobha. Jagajana Mana Lobha. Gaurangera Rotiko Shobha Jagajana Mana Lobha. Jagajana Mana Lobha. Jagajana Mana Lobha.
Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Dake Neni Tai Chan Pamega Dadhara Nikate Advaita Shini Vaschakradara Vose Ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasane Arati Korena Brahma Adi Deva Gane Nara Hari Ari Kori Chamara Dhulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Gosharikaya Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Madhur 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 Baje Madhur 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 Bhaja Shankha Bhaje Kantha Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Shankha Bhaje Kantha Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadana Ujjvala Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadana Ujjvala Gala Deshe Vanamala Gauri Jalamala Gala Deshe Vanamala Gauri Jalamala Shiva Shuka Narada Prime Gada Gada Shiva Shuka Narada Prime Gada Gada Pakati Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Pakati Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Hare Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rupi Sanatan Bata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bata Das Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Mandan Jaha hoite vigna nash abhishta puran H.I. Gosai Jarmu Etar Das Tansabara Pararinu Moda Panchagras Chandera Charana Sebe Bhakta Sanibas Janame ho ye avilan H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Koila Prakash Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majami Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koreyash Hare Nam Sankirtan Goe Narodamodar
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribol. Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribol. Go Premanande Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotaras Shishimada Pai Charanara Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotaras Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Anantagati Vaishnavini Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Zagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokopina Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Samabeta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glorious assembled devotees. All glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande Haribo. We'll sing.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadayine Praladadayine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha Bahi Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha बाहेन सिंहा हृदयेन सिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरेणाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे नाकाम धृता नरहरिरूपा तव करकमलवरेणाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय नरहरि जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय नरहरि जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरु निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर प्रेमानंद देव हरि नरसिंह देव भगवान की भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की शीला प्रभुपाद की समवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की निताय गौर गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
It feels good to be here on a Wednesday night, doesn't it? Yes.
And this hearing and chanting process is the process by which one can attain perfection in devotional service, the Shravanam Kirtanam. So, to organize one's schedule and one's life around this principle so that one can always hear about Krishna automatically is the recommended way to make advancement, even while you're working and raising a family and traveling, doing whatever you have to do. If you have an automatic system by which you every day hear from the Shastra and chant the holy names, then you'll no doubt make advancement in spiritual life. And quite rapidly also, because the potency of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is inestimable. And if one gives a little bit of attention to those processes every day, without skipping, then one will see for oneself the progress. And mentioned in the Shastra that there are symptoms of advancement in devotional service. And those are really characterized by one's increasing taste for the activity itself. In other words, because it actually is a spiritual activity and we're spiritual and Krishna is attractive, as we continue to hear and chant, we'll feel more impetus to hear and chant. This is a sure sign of advancement in spiritual life, that when the book comes out and someone wants to read something from the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, just as Vrindavan is demonstrating here on the showroom floor, and one becomes eager to hear and thinks, my benefit, this will be for my great benefit to hear. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. One feels that he or she is gaining wealth, real wealth in life by hearing. And therefore, just as a person who's after money and feels that if I just had $5 million, then my life would be good, because then I could retire to that little town on an island somewhere. And they're after this idea that if I just have money, then I'll be okay. Devotees have a similar kind of greed and impetus, but it's after hearing and chanting. They feel, after all, what good will money do me anyway, because it will slip through my fingers and I'll just be in anxiety about how to keep it anyway. But if I get this taste for hearing and chanting, and I can hear more about Krishna, then I'll actually have the wealth of my life. And in fact, there's a verse in the Puranas that say that just as a greedy person or a miser is always recounting his coins, so similarly a devotee should be recounting his mantras in the same greedy way. Think, how many do I have? I need more. Where are they? So organizing around this principle, for many, many years we've had this Wednesday night class, haven't we? As long as I can remember. We've at ISV, in fact, there was a point when we didn't, and then we decided we'd start the Monday night class, but it must be over a decade now that we've been doing, maybe a little bit more. And it started, at least I started coming and doing the Wednesday night class over on Union Street. We had a little storefront there. And on the outside it said Bhakti Yoga. People used to pop their head in all the time and said, where's the yoga class? When's the yoga class? And, right now, come in. Get in here. And next door to it, right next to our sign, there was an insurance sign for Allstate Insurance. And right next to that was a haircutting salon. And next to that there was a pizza parlor. And next to that there was a man who fixed computers. And that was a little strip mall where we had, and people could walk by in the afternoon to get a pizza, and they'd look in and they'd see Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan looking back at them, because it was a storefront window. And they would look in, and I'd see people all the time. What was that? Who was that? And just by placing this one class in the middle of the week, and then the devotees getting together on a regular basis to just hear a little bit, even a couple hours, that's all. That this has been one of the mainstays of ISV. So, and then there's the Sunday, Saturday classes, and the whole process, the whole community, everything is held together really by hearing and chanting. The hearing and chanting that the devotees are doing at home, and how we hear and chant is how we're healthy in spiritual life. So this is the number one recommendation. If you want to know how advanced in spiritual life, organize your time around this one principle of chanting Hare Krishna on beads, and also have a kirtan in your home. You should have some kind of way to sing. There's nothing more blissful than every morning to have some little kirtan in your house. Nobody does it on your block, I guarantee you, unless you live next to a devotee. And it clears everything, all the dust that is accumulated even overnight. And there's so many bad vibrations going to the ether we can't even imagine. But if you just have a kirtan in front of Shri Shri Gaura-Nitai in the morning time, or a picture of Panchatattva, then you've done everything you can. Etan nirvidyabananam ichatamakutopayam yoginam nripanirditam. What is the last line? Namanukirtanam. This is the sure process for success for all. And it doesn't matter what situation you're in life. Any situation you're in, this is the sure way of success. Just do this Harinam. Have a picture of Panchatattva or Shri Shri Gaura-Nitai, and then chant Hare Krishna. Pick up a drum if you can and some kartals, and then sing. And then life will be sublime. Nothing better than that. And this Friday night, we're taking the chanting to the street. This is a tradition since 500 years ago of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're carrying on this tradition. He sent out his chanters on the streets and said, chant out loud, so everybody can hear it. And it was corroborated by Haridas Thakur, who said that even if the insects or little germs or the trees hear this Hare Krishna mantra vibration, they get liberation, they get purified. What to speak of human beings? And you'll see on Friday night when you come out to this Harinam Sankirtan, there's nothing like it anywhere. First of all, we have the opportunity to do it. You can't do this downtown in Peking or Beijing. They don't let people just go out in Vietnam. I was there. They told me as soon as I landed at the airport, they said, be careful. Don't just start distributing books like you're in America, because you're going to end up in the police station. But here, no one will stop you. No one can stop you, actually. We're in a unique situation. So the opportunity to go out and chant, don't think, I've done it before. No, it's the most wonderful opportunity to actually go out and chant in public. You're not going to get it everywhere and anywhere. You can't do it in Dubai, I don't think. Can you? How about in Muslim countries? Pakistan. You can do Pakistan? Karachi? Have a big Harinam up and down the street? No problem, right? So, take advantage. Come out in this Harinam. It's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked his followers to do 500 years ago. And we've got the most affluent city in the world to do it in Palo Alto. Hello. So that'll be at 6:59 p.m. this Friday night, Palo Alto, Emerson Street. If you can, if you have time, dress up in a snazzy way, if you possibly can. If you have some nice clothes, dress up and look nice when you come out. And if you can, wear some tilak. And then we'll have the chanting, we'll have a book table, there will be prasadam to distribute, and then we'll have a parade that goes all the way around the city. We'll go past that great mecca of Kali Yuga Apple computer. We'll pay tribute to the late, great Steve Jobs as we go by, and all the followers of Steve Jobs inside the Apple store and so forth. And it'll be a wonderful time, so please come out for the Harinam Sankirtan on Friday night. And then we have a monthly Sankirtan festival that's in progress now. And we have some very interesting goals that Malini will tell you about right now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One of our goals for this MSF is actually to start a campaign to keep our book room clean. I mean, as you've seen, there is so much. It's shared by many other departments, so we have a challenge to keep it clean. But we are going to start. We are going to start making some arrangements where we will try to find a place for everything, and everything should be in the place. So we have meetings. We have a meeting this Sunday. But one thing is that we can all have that in our consciousness, that when we come to the big book room to place something back, if you don't know where it goes, then hold on and ask somebody who you can contact me or Purushottam Prabhu or Kumari Leela, Haladhara Rupa Prabhu or Sanjay Prabhu also, where it goes. We will find a place now. First step is that.
I would say do that for every room.
So now Prabhu wants to extend that to every room, not just the book room. So we will have the same campaign for every room. And one of the other goals for this MSF was also to have a good scoring. We are reporting scores now back to WSN in so many places, but we don't have a systematic way of reporting. So starting with this MSF, all the scores that will be reported during the offerings, during the WSN, everything will be the same. Like we will report in terms of big books, Mahabig books, small books, medium books, like that. And also from now onwards, after the book distribution, at least within a week, the scores should be reported back, not that we hold on for 4 or 5 weeks, then we are reporting. So that was the second goal. And the third goal is that we have already a contact follow-up system, or entering the contact system that Haladhara Rupa Prabhu and all the devotees have developed, but that has not been rolled out to all the devotees who go out on book distribution or who go out to other outreach programs. So we will have a seminar or a working session this weekend where we can all put it on our iPhones and they will show us on how to use the system. So everybody can go through that, and then we will have a live demonstration as well for a new contact that goes in. So these are the 3 goals. And this weekend we'll go out for book distribution. We'll distribute Bhagavad Gitas mainly. We will go to some new areas maybe, or to Santa Cruz, some place like that. So please join us if you can. Thank you.
And what's the name of the MSF?
MSF of Steady Improvements.
Good. It's an opportunity to make some much needed and much looked forward to improvements. How's the Ahimsa Milk program going, Hari Guru? Can't hear you.
I said, so we are nearing about 100 gallons a week right now.
100 gallons a week?
Yeah.
Very good.
But we still need to reach we're still 1/5 of our target. So, but there's some more milk coming right now. It's on its way. And we encourage everyone and all to take advantage of this.
This is a service to Mother Cow, and by serving the cow, the whole human society benefits. Human reason fails to understand how this is true, but it's a fact. And if we are to increase awareness, a lot of it is through this word of mouth. So we should spread the word. Hari Guru Prabhu has some pamphlets he can give you. You can give to your friends. You can tell people about the importance of taking care of the cow. Everything else will come from that. It will gradually become more and more prominent program here, just starting with this taking of Ahimsa milk and increasing that economic base that we have. And it's also important to pay the price. Don't think, I'll just buy cheap milk from Safeway or something like that, because it's not cheap. What it is, you're paying the price for people to mishandle the cow when we buy milk from the outside. But when we buy this Ahimsa milk and you pay the higher price for it, that's the real price. Actually, it's a much higher price, because actually to take care of this sacred animal takes a lot of work. And the only reason there's cheap milk is people are doing very horrible things in order to maintain the animals. And so I won't go into all the details of that, because it's horrific to even talk about it. But this is one of our a focus that we have here at ISV, is to increase the awareness of cow seva and how to protect the cow. So Hari Guru Prabhu is taking the lead on this program. Give him a hand. Give him your support. There are many programs going here at ISV. There's a program at Stanford which is growing by leaps and bounds every month, every year. And there are wonderful programs, cooking classes, very interesting presentations taking place there on a weekly basis. There's a yoga class that teaches the basics of Krishna consciousness here on Saturday afternoons. And there's a movie night here on Friday nights, normally, except we have Holyname this week, right? And many other projects that are taking place here at ISV. So if you'd like to get involved, just let us know. There's plenty of service to do. And that's also rare also. Devotees tell me in India, if you're in a temple, it's very difficult to get seva. It's all locked up. But here at ISV, practically anybody can get in, so take advantage of it. Other announcements?
So Prabhu,
yes.
For the Govardhan Puja and the Diwali, we are planning a bus trip to the farm. So I think the Govardhan Puja is on the 3rd of November, it's a Sunday. So we're planning a bus trip on the Saturday afternoon to go. So we'll have a bus, and I think Rajesh Prabhu is pretty excited to arrange for the bus. So we can have, I'm working out the details, so we can have like an afternoon trip to the farm and back, and a nearby park where they can kind of enjoy the day or something.
Beautiful.
And
can we get a bullock cart?
Somebody has to make it.
It would be nice to have a bullock cart and to go through Mountain View one time. Have like a Nagar Kirtan with a bullock cart going through. Can we do that?
Why not?
Hari Guru Prabhu says we can do.
You mean the farm is actually very close to the mountain, so you can see the mountains, and you can call that place Mountain View if you like.
No, but I just see when you bring the bullocks into the city, and they actually go through the city, then people stand back and really take notice. People don't get to see cows and bulls ever. In fact, in LA, when they used to bring the bulls to the Rath Yatra, people would just line up just to see. And I noticed a lot of children coming over. I heard one little child ask his father, he said, "What is it, Daddy?" He didn't know even what it was. Never seen a bull before.
There are a lot of temples nearby, and ahimsa is such a nice milk. Ahimsa milk is just the name itself is so sweet. I think if you go, and these temples have a kind of a place where they sell some temple stuff. So if you put their milk there, I think it will sell just like that. It would be very easy to sell. Actually, if you are saying 500 gallons, I think that also will be possible.
I think you should sign Narendra up as your agent. Yes, I can. Oh, he's volunteered now as your agent. Let's give a hand for Narendra. He'll be the sales rep for the Surabi Corporation. Yes.
A long time ago, Narendra Prabhu wanted to volunteer and get some water for the temple, but Krishna gave him a bigger duty. Instead of water, he's going to get milk.
He also did the water thing too. Narendra has sponsored a first-class water filter here in the temple. It's yet to be installed. We're just waiting for the plumber. But we want to thank Narendra Prabhu for doing that service. Digging wells is a way to get great pious activity, and providing water filters is the modern equivalent. So, thank you very much, everyone. Yes?
Yeah, may I just ask a yes or no question? Actually, Varshana Devidasi did not have a cell phone on her, so she emailed me her question from her iPad.
Yes, we'll take the question.
Yeah, and she wants to know that sometimes while we are chanting the holy names, we go to sleep, although the intention is not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So is that an offense or not?
Yeah, we shouldn't go to sleep when we're chanting. If you're chanting and you go to sleep, this is it's one of the signs called laya of being in the unsteady stage of devotional service. Better to get enough rest and then stay alert when you're chanting. And if you need to take rest, if you feel drowsy, put your beads down and take an official snap for 5 to 7 minutes, 11 at the most, and then get back up again and with the full attention chant. But it's not good to drowse off when you're chanting. I mean, how would you like it if you were talking to someone and they were drowsing off? If you go to an interview, this is a classic example, and they're asking you questions, and so we're basically calling out to Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare. So now we're going to sing a prayer before we take prasadam. And in this prayer, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that the body is a network of paths leading to death, and of all the senses are networks of paths leading to death, and of all the senses, the tongue is most voracious and difficult to control. But the Lord's very kindly sent us Mahaprasad to help control the tongue, and so we'll call out for the help of Shri Shri Gaurnitai and glorify their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan by taking this Mahaprasad. Sharirad Vijajam Jotendriya Tahika Jibe Pele Vishaya Sagare Dharma Jivayati Loba Moe Sudumati Take Jeta Katita Samsare Krishna Bodha Doyamoy Kori Bare Jiva Jai Saprasarana Dilobai Shayanamrita Pao Radha Krishna Guna Gao Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Nitai Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Nitai Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swapa Punya Vatam Brajan Vishwaso Navijaya Prasade Sarvadukanam Hani Rasyo Pajayate Prasana Chetaso Yashu Bhudi Parya Vatishtate Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasad Ki Jai Go Premanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Please come take prasadam. Hare Krishna. There'll be Mahaprasadam served just outside